Hey friends, sorry for a long silence, but today I'm finally back and I'm going to be sharing with you my top 8 favorite book that I read last year, 2025, in different languages. You may ask, why 8 and not 7 like I did before? Well, I just decided to pick one favorite book for each language I was reading, because last year I found something special, something valuable in every single one of them. So last year, 2025, I read 68 books and textbooks in total. Most of them were in Spanish, 18 books, then 16 books were in Russian, 13 in English, 7 in Polish, 5 adapted books were in French, and I also read 3 books each in Belarusian, Ukrainian, and Armenian. Also, that year, I started reading magazines, popular magazines, and I read 6 magazines for language learners, 4 in Spanish and 2 in English. I really enjoyed that reading experience. I even wrote a short review about it in Spanish. I'll put a link to that article, that review, in the description box down below. And now, back to the books. The complete list of all 68 books that I read last year will be, as always, will be on my website, silentpolyglot.com. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about only my favorite ones, my top 8 favorite books that I read in 2025 in 8 different languages: English, Spanish, French, Polish, Russian, Ukrainian, Belarusian, and Armenian. And traditionally, I'd like to start with the English book. It's called Turnabout by Margaret Peterson Haddix. It's a pretty short science fiction story for young adults and maybe middle grade, but I think it can be interesting for adult readers as well. Here we have 2 main protagonists, Amelia or Melly and Annabeth or Annibeth. Many years ago, when they were already 100 years old, they took part in a secret experiment called Project Turnabout. According to the doctors, that experiment could stop and even reverse the aging process. Well, it worked, but as often happens, something went wrong. And now we have Amelia, who is 15, and Annabeth, who is 17, if I remember it right. They are slowly transforming from 100-year-old women into teenagers year by year without stopping, and no one knows where or how it's all going to end. So the girls decide it's time to start looking for someone who could take care of them as they gradually become children, then toddlers, etc. It was a really interesting and thought-provoking book that makes me think about a lot of things, especially about the elderly people around us. I also loved the ending. I usually don't like open endings, but here, in my opinion, here it was the best possible decision. So, highly recommended. The next best book on my list is in Spanish. It's called Sin noticias de Gurb, or in English, No Word from Gurb, written by Eduardo Mendoza. I got this book from the Cervantes Institute Library in Moscow the past autumn. Actually, it was my very first paper book that I borrowed there, and I liked it a lot. It's a story about two aliens who landed near Barcelona in 1992, the exact time where the city was preparing for 1992 Summer Olympics. One of the alien, whose name is Gurb, transformed into famous Spanish singer Marta Sanchez, and he went out to explore the area and suddenly disappeared. So his companion, the other alien, had to go out and search for him. And the whole story is told through the diary of that second alien from his point of view, and gives us quite a unique alien picture of that interesting place called Barcelona. So, brilliant book. Also, it was quite a challenging read for me, because there were many unfamiliar words and expressions, and I had to use my dictionary a lot, trying to understand the exact meaning of what people were saying in the story. But I liked both the process of working with the book and the story itself, and I'm definitely going to reread it in the future when, let's say, when my Spanish level is a bit higher, because it's definitely one of those books worth reading and rereading. Okay, the next best book is in Polish. It's called Bułeczka by Jadwiga Korczakowska. It's a story about a little girl whose real name was Bronia, but everyone calls her Bułeczka, which means a bun in English, because she's a chubby girl with round cheeks and healthy complexion. She's an orphan. She used to live in the countryside with an old relative, but when that relative had go abroad, Bułeczka is sent to live with another family. And this family lives in town, already has a girl about the same age, 7 or 8 years old, but this city girl, she's absolutely against having someone else to live with them and sharing her parents' love and attention. You know, I wanted to read this book for many years, and I'm glad that I finally found it. First of all, I love the story itself, a story about an orphan in a new family. And also, it's a brilliant book for me as a language learner. I found a huge number of new, interesting words and expressions here. For example, I found here a word, a dish called racuchy that I had never heard of before. It turns out to be one of traditional Polish dish, similar to pancakes or apple pancakes, to be exact. I've already found the recipe here on YouTube. Well, I'm not good in the kitchen, but I'm definitely going to try making it this very January. Now, the Ukrainian language. My favorite read in Ukrainian this year was «П'ятнадцятилітній капітан». In English, it's called as Dick Sends the Boy Captain, or Dick Send a Captain at 15. Dick Send a Captain at 15. Written by famous French author Jules Vern. This story has a special place, always had a special place in my family. I read it in Russian translation many years ago, and I absolutely loved it. Also, it was my grandmother's favorite book. And then last year, I suddenly came across this Ukrainian version, and I read it almost immediately. It was fascinating to follow the plot all over again, but in a different language. It turned out that I had forgotten a lot. So there was much to rediscover for me. Also, the translation was very, very smooth, very natural. So I would highly recommend this book to everyone who hasn't read it yet in any language. The next best book was written in Belarusian. It's titled Чорный замак Альшанскі, or The Black Castle Альшанскі, written by Belarusian writer Uladзімір Караткевіч. It's a historical detective novel where the present blends or intertwines with the past. The book also has quite a complex structure. It's like several stories in one, stories separated by years, even centuries. It's quite a heavy, emotionally heavy book about war, about love, about mystery of an ancient text. To be honest, personally, I don't like detective novels that much, but with this book, literally, once I opened it, I just couldn't put it down. And this story stayed with me very long time, for a very long time, long after I finished the book. I just couldn't pick up another book right away. So, highly recommend it. The next best book was written in Armenian. It's called Anahit, written by famous Armenian writer Ղազարոս Աղայան. It's very, very interesting and great story about a shepherd's daughter named Anahit. She was very beautiful and also very intelligent, smart, I'd say wise beyond her age. When a prince called Vachagan fell in love with her and wanted to marry her, the first question she asked him was, what is his profession? What can he actually do with his own hands? And this simple question of hers becomes like a trigger, like starting point that changes everything. And it changes not only the lives of Anahit and Vachagan, but also lives of many people around them. To me, it's truly a unique book. I loved it a lot. A book that teaches us the value of profession, value of friendship, necessity of learning, and also many other things that might be insignificant at first glance. So, once again, highly recommended. The next best book is written in French. It's the famous Les Trois Mousquetaires, or in English, it's The Three Mousquetaires by Alexandre Dumas. This is an adapted book And it says there that it's recommended for a level A2 and up. Well, I think my current level is about A0, A1. So, of course, it was difficult for me to read it. But dictionaries helped, both in the book itself and online dictionaries. And of course, it also helped that I knew this story very well. I can't even count how many times I read this book as a child. So I think that knowledge of the plot really helped me with my reading. And this adapted version is just excellent. The key dialogues, the most important phrases in the book are just as I remembered them from the Russian translation I read many times in my childhood. Of course, that also kept me engaged. And this very book made me want to learn French more, I think, so that someday I can read this story again, but this time in the original, without any adaptation. And finally, the best book I read in Russian, Бабье, царство, Русский парадокс, written by famous Russian writer and historian Эдвард Радзинский. The title roughly translates as the tsardom of women, a Russian paradox, or a women's kingdom, a Russian paradox. This book is mainly about the 18th century, when Russia was ruled predominantly by women. Empress Elizabeth of Russia and Catherine the Great, and how this unique female century affected all Russia and changed its future, its destiny. It's a huge book. If I remember it right, it's more than 600 pages, all beautifully written, all straight to the point, or без воды, as we'd say in Russian. I believe in English it's like without any stuff or without any fluff. This was the second book I read by this author, and once again, I wasn't disappointed. So, great read. If you're interested in Russian history, without any doubt, highly recommended. So, those were my top 8 books that I read in 2025 in different languages. And now I would really love to hear from you. What were your favorite books of that year? Maybe we have some books in common, or maybe you will just mention a book that I or anyone else wanted to read for a long time, but always forget. Who knows? So I would absolutely love to hear all your thoughts and book recommendations, because as you know, I'm always looking for great reads in all the languages I'm working on. English, Spanish, Polish, French, Armenian, Ukrainian, Belarusian, and my native Russian. Thank you so much for watching, and happy reading! Bye!